Oh, you're good. All righty. So first off,
Hi.
nice to actually meet you. Well, I guess officially meet you through here.
Yeah.
I know.
Hi. Nice to meet
Hey, how
you
are
as
you?
well.
What's that?
Nice to meet you as well.
I'm thankful for social media and the fact that I finally had a chance to meet you. You're a legend,
Oh,
apparently.
hardly.
Yeah.
I think it's funny when people tell me that.
Well, you know what? It means your legend precedes yourself. My mom's on here too. She's just using her photo instead.
Hi,
Oh,
Alicia. I'm Mama
hi. So
Rush.
nice to meet you.
Nice meeting you too. I was looking forward to this interview today.
Oh, so I see where he gets his looks.
Oh, wow.
Oh, thank you.
Good job, Mom.
Yeah. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Oh my gosh, her eyes are like next level.
They
That's a genetic blessing there.
they really are. They really are. So Alicia, today's a total. You do pronounce it Alicia, right?
Yes. Yeah. Thanks.
Thank God, because literally, I know three Alicias, and you all spell the name three different ways.
I believe it. I
So,
believe it.
but the real Alicia, please stand up. That's you right now. So we have that.
Yeah.
So, Alicia, my question for you. Oh, actually, not even a question. Let's get in. It's all about you. So, what do you do for? I kind of know what your profession is, but I would rather you tell us because I'm not 100% sure.
Let me get that centered a little bit better. There we go.
Okay.
So what I do as far as coaching is I work with men to
Okay.
create the dating and relationship dynamic that they want. Oftentimes men get frustrated in the like ever changing dating world. And so I help them navigate it. My company name is Navigating Venus. I
Okay.
added on the custom menswear portion of it because I was redoing their wardrobes anyway. And so it made sense. And I was finding so many men have a really challenging time finding fits that work for them. And
Okay.
so what we do is we measure them, create a fit profile, and we can literally design anything and everything custom fitted, like from t-shirts to tuxes. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Wait. Hold on. What's the company called? Like
Navigating Venus is my company name. Yeah.
Navigating Venus, and so you all help people literally find the clothing, find the types of clothing that they want to wear, or
I
like.
design it. So it actually is not made until you order it. And the price point is right around like Nordstrom pricing. So it's not like most people think it costs like what designer wear is, and it's not. But it literally comes custom fitted. And what's really cool is that it's made for your body. And so men who have a difficult fit, like I just did a guy who has very straight across shoulders and he's 6'7" and has a challenging time finding a fit. I've done basketball, NBA players. I've done football players. Everything, especially if you have like really broad chest and you have a very narrow waist, like you
Yeah.
have to get everything tailored. And so this one already comes fitted for your body, and you get to choose threads, the fabrics, everything. It's so much fun.
That's absolutely amazing. Like, shoot, I need that myself because like I played football growing up. I played all in college as well.
You have a very V shape, so yeah, you do.
Yeah, and my like so that's the problem. Like, I have trouble. Like I always have to. Let's use on set for example. I always have to go with the biggest shirt. So I work on 911 a lot, and there aren't the arm sleeves of those shirts. I just stopped doing bicep curls because my arms don't fit in the shirts that they have there, and then my neck is constantly a problem. Like if I'm working out a lot, I can't button the top button, or it's like 5 minutes of me struggling to get that in. Then I'm getting choked the whole entire time, or
yep,
right
otherwise
in this area.
then it's too big. Yeah, I know. So we solve all that for you.
Okay, well, man, that's amazing. I had to apologize. I don't know why I thought you were in nursing, so I apologize for that.
No, I do that as well.
Oh, thank God.
I know.
All right.
Well, I love clothes, and I love nurses and that whole arena. But with what you're saying, do you have pictures? Do men come in with designs? Do they come in with what they want to look like? How they want to fit, or how do you navigate that process?
Oh, that's a great question. I have never been asked that. Thank you.
Way to go, Mom.
I know. So what we do, sometimes men will, sometimes I do have some very particular men that do want very specific looks, and they're going for a very specific aesthetic. A lot of my clients though, especially if they're my coaching clients, oftentimes they're coming, most of my coaching, like a lot of people ask like what my target client is. And I have worked with men ages 22, I think was the youngest one, all the way up until 75 was my oldest.
Oh,
So
okay.
as far as, so if they're my coaching client, oftentimes they'll be like, just tell me what to do. I don't care.
Okay.
And, so I tend to make some suggestions like, hey, this is how your body shape is. This is what I think would look good. And like I said, we do everything from t-shirts to tuxes. So whether you want like casual wear or you want a suit or you want some athletic wear, we can do all of it. And we utilize like a lot of different fabrics and stuff to fit your lifestyle, which is really cool. And then once we get your fit right, then, I mean, you tell me what you want. I have some guys that are more particular than others, and I just cater to what they want. Sometimes they'll show me an image or a picture like, do you have anything like this? But I would say most of the time they yield to my recommendations, and then, you know, they go from there. So
well, what is the turnaround time?
Yeah.
If someone wants to get something made, like maybe for a wedding, a suit for a wedding, a groom wants the
3 to 6 weeks.
3 to 6 weeks. Okay.
Well, that's fast.
It is fast.
That's
And you can do
fast.
rush shipping. Like I've gotten some casual wear in under a week and a half, but it's generally like a 3 to 6 week benchmark.
Man, that's amazing. You're my new favorite person. I'm gonna have to call you myself.
Yeah.
If you have anything,
really cool, we have an app that I can utilize to measure you from like over here, because I know we're on different coasts. So
yeah, you're gonna have to. I would have you text that to me. If I have 2 phones in my hand, I'll have you text it to me so I can show it on the podcast too and talk about it.
Sure.
And also the email address, her email address.
Yes.
So
what's your?
Yeah. She can
we'll do all that.
Yeah, if you want to say it or whatever, you can, because we'll have it too.
So usually I send people to my Instagram because it does have my link on there, which is at alicia.m.justus. So it's my full name. And then the link is on there, but I usually have them message because I will set up an account, because if they go directly to the website, it can be a little bit confusing. And so I'm like, let me do it for you. Just, you know, send me the info and I'll set it up for you.
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah. I try to take the guesswork out of a lot of that. And, you know, that's what my job is.
Okay.
How long have you been, Alicia, how long have you been in this business as far as dressing men? Do you dress women too, or it's just men?
I worked exclusively with men.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I started coaching before I started styling, and I've always kind of redone any of the guys that I dated or my ex-husband or, you know, any of that. Like I've always redone their wardrobe. I love fashion. I think it's so much fun. I actually studied it in college. One of the times I went to college, I kept on going back and getting more and more degrees and switching it up. And I'm just like, I love to learn. So, I started coaching about 3 years ago professionally. And it kind of birthed itself almost. I don't know how else to say it, because I've always kind of been a go-to. I've gotten along really well with men. I was a total tomboy growing up. Like I grew up on a farm, horses, chickens, and pigs. And I hike, I wakeboard. So I was a total tomboy. I didn't get pretty until adulthood. I was very much a late bloomer. So I had to develop my personality. Thank God for that. I actually am so grateful to be a late bloomer.
Yeah. Me too.
Yeah, right. Honestly, it's the best, and you don't think of it at the time. But like, I didn't date until college, and
you say you didn't date until college?
No.
Me too.
Seriously?
Yeah, I was an ugly duckling too. But here's a good thing. I'm dead serious. At least we didn't peak in high school like a lot of people have. We didn't peak in high school.
I know, right?
I think mom says that she gained her looks later on too. I don't know if she's gonna say that right now, but
well,
it's okay, mom. You don't have to say it.
That's okay. That's fine.
Yeah, it came in later for me too.
Honestly, I'm so grateful for it.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
So I've always kind of been a go-to girl. I guess I'm like a wing woman for a lot of my male friends. And there was one day where I got 4 like text messages or phone calls or whatever. They're like processing stuff with their relationship or dating, or like, I don't understand what she means. Like, help me translate this. What do I do? And I was like, why am I not doing this? This is what I do naturally. And it kind of started coming from feedback from them. Like, oh, I wish I would have listened to you, or, yeah, you were right on that or whatever. And I don't care about being right. I care about being helpful. And so that's when I started doing it. And then I've been doing it for about 3.5 years now. And most of my clients are just fantastic. I love helping men who have really good hearts that have had glitches or they have blind spots. And so what I do is I help to shine a light on those blind spots. And I say, hey, this is how you can operate a little bit differently. Coaching is different than therapy in that we're not as past focused. We're more like practical application of different skill sets and different ways of thinking and working on the mindset. Some of it, we do have to navigate a little bit of the history of, hey, maybe this is where this came from. And why are you attracting this type of woman that you don't want to attract? But a lot of it is very practical and forward thinking, which is what makes coaching different than therapy.
Okay, so you're addressing men as well as coaching men in dating or in their professional life as well? Or is just more so dating women and in relationships, that type of thing as well?
Dating and relationships.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
navigating Venus, like it comes from the name. I was working out and it came to me one day and I was thinking men are from Mars, women are from Venus. And so I was like, I'm helping men navigate the world of Venus.
Oh,
I
okay.
like that. I like that. I don't have a problem in that department, but I know that people do when it comes to dating. Like it's funny you mentioned that because you've done this amazing thing. You're helping these men out who need help, and especially in our dating world these days. Gosh, it's all over the place, right?
Oh, dynamics have shifted tremendously.
Completely. Social media plays an effect in that too, I believe. And but I'm the one for my guy friends and my girlfriends. They always ask me for advice, for dating advice. But I don't have it. Yeah, I don't do what you do. They just DM me and I do it for free.
So you have clients that call in, and how do you interact with them without you see them on the internet, or they come to you on the internet and then they tell me a little bit about that process?
Oh, thank you for asking that. You ask great questions. I love it. Oh my gosh. You're a lucky guy to have her as your mom. That's
Blessed.
awesome.
Oh,
Very
I'm lucky to
blessed.
be
Very
his
blessed.
mother.
And I'm
Yes.
blessed too.
So oftentimes I get referrals. Someone will, my card's out, especially like locally. They'll say, oh, I heard about you through so-and-so, or I found your card and someone recommended I come see you. Or they'll find me off Instagram, usually is where it's at. Sometimes they'll reach out on Facebook. I, you know, I tend to like ask some poignant questions in the beginning just to kind of filter out if they're actually serious. And then I, want to make sure that the boundaries are very clear that like, hey, I'm not open for anything other than professional. So I keep it pretty clear, but usually it's through, especially through social media. If it's a reference from someone else, obviously that's a little bit different, but I know my card is out here because whenever I go to like a networking thing or something to that effect, oftentimes people will say, oh, I've seen you or I've heard about you or whatever, in the area here. Cause I'm in Sacramento area, but I do a lot of my consults I do via Zoom.
Oh, that's great.
That's
Hey, for men to know, have you ever done just a group of men where they all come together and do you feel more comfortable talking to a group or to individuals, or it doesnn't matter?
It doesn't matter. I actually would love to do a group thing where we would have like a group. Actually, this would be a fun podcast one, is if we have a group of guys to like talk about some of their like dating dilemmas and maybe ask questions or anything like that. A lot of my close guy friends will shoot me a question once in a while, and I don't mind that anytime. I love talking anything that is self-improvement oriented.
Okay.
And that's really what the coaching is, because you're developing skills that really will translate out into all of your life. But in particular, for some reason, there's like always a glitch in relationships. They're our greatest teacher, and they're also sometimes our greatest challenge, because they literally mirror back everything in you that are either deep-seated wounds or something that you haven't processed yet or healed. And it really forces you to develop different skill sets and get to know yourself. And I'm big on men getting to know themselves. Like a lot of the questions that I will ask them are really in a way trying to get them to understand themselves better. You know, I have them do a personality profile. I have them do an attachment style quiz.
Oh, okay.
And I have them do a love language quiz before I even meet with them.
Oh,
And the
that's
reason I
good.
have them do those 3 things is it helps me understand who they are as a whole, because they can tell me their profession, they can tell me all that. And I worked with attorneys, I've worked with athletes, I've worked with you know, a CPA, I mean, and there's another one. A couple of them have me sign NDAs, so I don't want to say what they do.
Yes,
But
I understand.
yeah, but yeah, I mean, all different types. And so, but it helps me understand how they show up in a relationship and how they receive information, how they receive and give love. So when I know that, it helps me to kind of like expedite the expedite. I don't think that's a word.
It sounded good to me.
Expedite the beginning part. There we go.
Yeah.
That's all right. No problem.
You still did good. I was with you.
Excellent. Excellent. Go right ahead.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, my mom is a reading specialist, and she would absolutely murder me for that one right now.
Well, my mom was a French and English teacher, and though she's gone on to be with the Lord, I always hear her when I'm speaking. I can hear her correcting my sentence. I can, in fact, when my siblings and I are writing each other text messages, we go back and correct the English in the text message behind each other. We don't correct each other, but we make sure that they know we meant to say something like that. It is the most, it's always stuck. It's always a part of you. And I know when I told my mom, I said, Mom, most people won't know how to say that or won't know that subject verb agreement or adverb or whatever. And she'd say, well, I really don't care. I just want you all to know it. And that's what she would say. And so therefore we try to know it. Well, listen, let's go back to you, Alicia.
Yeah.
Okay, now, Brandon, go ahead.
Yes, Alicia, I had a question to ask you because you said that you got all these different degrees. I would love to know. I'm gonna get into a bunch of stuff that I wanted to ask you, but where did you go? What are the colleges that you went to, and then I guess the degrees you kind of studied? Because we have this thing called Buckle Up University, with a lot of kids that are 18 years old, either going to college or they're going into the military or they're going into the workforce, maybe not knowing exactly what they want to do. So we have people just like you who come on here and say, hey, you know, when I was like, this is what I did. So I would love for you just to even talk about that or elaborate on that a little bit.
Oh, I love that. That is so cool.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm a firm believer in mentorship. I think it's one of the best things that we can do. You know, if young people have ears to listen and they're willing to, I mean, being able to offer like your life experience, I love that. That is the coolest. I didn't know you did that. That's so cool. So I originally went to school. I took 6 years to get a 4-year degree, and I ended up getting my bachelor's in food science, nutrition, and business administration.
Oh.
Then I ended up going back. I have a couple associate's degrees, and then I got my BSN about 10 years ago and started nursing. And then I've done a series of coaching trainings, and I'm yoga teacher certified. I'm a Reiki certified practitioner. I don't practice that often, but I did a lot of that for my own, you know, my own journey, my own expertise, my own understanding. And I love studying different schools of thought.
Yeah.
And a lot of what I do with my clients too, I do a lot of breath work with them, because I know the impact of breath work that has. I mean, it completely rewires your nervous system if you do it regularly, and it causes chemical changes in your body that you can't get else. I mean, it's really powerful, and I'm a big advocate of that. So I utilize a lot of those techniques with my clients as well.
Holy smokes.
And when you're saying breath, are you saying breathing, or what is it? Would you please say that again?
Breath work. So there's a lot of different techniques that you have 2 parts of your central nervous system. You have your sympathetic and then your parasympathetic. Your sympathetic is your fight or flight. Your parasympathetic is your rest and digest. That's kind of the easiest way to put it. When one is engaged, the other one is not. So when you do breath work, and one of the really cool things about yoga in particular is that you're doing a strenuous activity, but you're utilizing breath to keep your parasympathetic, which is your rest and digest system, engaged. So you learn to train your body to stay calm in stressful situations. That's what breath work does. Breath work focuses a lot on the vagal nerve, which is your fifth cranial nerve. It innervates all throughout your respiratory tract, your cardiac muscle, and all the way down into your diaphragm. And when you do that, it's kind of like soothing is the best way it soothes your nervous system. It creates a kind of cascade of chemicals that release, and it kind of balances you. So we do a lot of, breath can have a ton of different impacts depending on what you do. Like if you're doing like that type of thing, that will create heat in your body because you're creating a diaphragmatic contraction. But if you're doing like very long rhythmic breaths, it slows down your heart rate. It's, it regulates your nervous system. It puts you in a different state. So that way you're less reactive.
Oh,
that is amazing. Alicia, I'm over here thinking a lot of times my mom will hear me. I'm really good when I do my best work underneath pressure, but my mom will hear me sometimes be like, and I'll blow it out, and I'm actually fine, but it's just me blowing out it's me blowing out, like I'm in a stressful situation, but I'm blowing out like the bit of energy that is of that situation, but I'm fine. It's just like I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain, but it's like I'm blowing out. I totally get it. Yeah. So hearing you say that, I never even thought about that until you just mentioned it.
It's a great tool.
That's absolutely amazing. Mom, unless you have a question, I have another thing to say.
No, go ahead.
Sorry, my mom's in the other room. Alicia, one of the things I'm kind of picking up from you that you have a very nurturing and caring quality about yourself. Is that something that obviously you're born with it? Is it something that comes from maybe your upbringing, from your family, or where does that? I think you said you're a tomboy and you get along with the boys, so you're definitely a girl's guy, which is the best. Being a girl's guy is the best, I think. Like a tomboyish. I like. Yeah. But you having that.
I'm very feminine now. I love being feminine. I think I love being a woman. I think it's so much fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of it is my upbringing. My mom is, oh God, she has a servant's heart. She literally doesn't have a mean bone in her body. She's the most kind and nurturing person. My dad's like they're still together.
Oh, awesome.
And my dad is like the kind of like funny, quirky one. He's very, very strong personality, very driven. Both of them really kind of gave me the yin and the yang to grow up with. And I learned a lot. I've always had a really big heart for people. I really love connection. I am naturally extroverted. I thrive on connection. And I don't, like, I always joke and say I don't do small talk because I really don't. Like when I go to networking things, I never ask, what do you do? I ask about their story. I say, what passion projects are you working on? Tell me about something that excites you right now, because I want to know their soul, their mind, their heart. What they do will come later. But to me, it's more about building the connection and the relationship. And that's why I'm such a huge advocate of healthy dynamics and relationships, because you can have a life without connection is not worth living.
Yeah.
And so many people, and men in particular, they don't have, social groups the way women do. They don't create those connections. So like, what's up, bro? What's up? And it's very small talk. I mean, I'm around it all the time. I see it. So, and so they don't have outlets, and I want to help facilitate that, so you can actually have something that's meaningful. And, it amazes me when you look at statistics with men, so many of them will go, days and days and days without having so much of physical like any sort of physical contact. Yeah. And I'm like, I don't want this, because it can be the most healing thing in the world. And it's necessary. We are social creatures. We're designed to have connection.
Yeah.
And so if I don't ever want anyone to not have that. And
Mm-hmm,
so if they're
mm-hmm.
willing to do the work, like I'm here for you.
Absolutely.
Do you have any siblings? Do you
Yeah,
have
I have a younger sister. She's a
a
nurse as
younger
well.
sister?
Oh, okay.
Oh, great. And so you have been blessed to have that talent to almost read people.
Oh yeah.
Read people, and that's I always say that's a spiritual gift that you have. Brandon's able to read people. I am too. And we can talk on the phone and not see a person, but through your voice or whatever, we can feel something. We
Mm-hmm.
know if you're happy, in a good mood, and we try not seeing a person talk you into having a great mood, get you out of whatever state we feel through that phone that you may be in. And it's the most amazing gifts that God has given you as well as us. And that's why I'm looking at you and saying, Lord, this is really wonderful.
Yeah.
With the nursing, have you ever practiced nursing? I know it's almost everything you're doing now is you are fulfilling that role. But have you ever worked in a hospital setting or a doctor's office or anything like that?
I want to, before I answer the question, I want to go back to that. I completely attribute it to being a gift because I don't control it. I've always had a read on people and I sense
Mhm.
things. Uh, there's a lot of research that says that it is parts of your nervous system, and parts of your brain that are actually responsible for that.
Mhm.
But I really do believe it's a gift. I think it's
Mhm.
something that I've been kind of attuned to
Mhm.
my entire life, and it's a blessing and a curse because sometimes I'll know too much before they even say anything,
That's
and
right.
Yeah.
I just
You're
know
an
to trust
empath.
it. I don't judge it. I don't make a judgment call on it. I just know
Uh-uh.
to trust it.
Yeah.
And sometimes I just know to trust whatever my inner voice is saying. I don't know why I feel like I'm being asked to ask you this. It's not, people think it's like psychic, but it's not. I can't see your
Uh-uh.
future. I just
Yeah.
Mhm.
understand certain aspects about you.
That's right.
And
That's it.
yeah, I'm able to attune to that. And I don't know. It's just feel it's something that is within my being that I can't, and I just learned to trust it, and it generally, and I don't control it. And the reason why I know I don't control it is because it's always to help somebody and I just
Mhm.
know to follow it. And for me too, whenever I don't trust my gut in my own life, I'm like, gosh, I regret this. But
Absolutely.
Oh, I understand. I understand.
Alicia, I wanted to say first off, before we get into the nursing thing, because I do want to say that one, your parents have done a phenomenal job with you. Like I want to thank Mr. and Mrs. Justus. I might have said that wrong. I might have pronounced that wrong.
Justice is how I pronounce it. It's actually my ex-husband's last name. We were married for 7 years, and it was a
Okay.
pain in the butt to change it. So I was like,
Yeah.
I'm going to change it again when I get remarried. So
Okay. Well, your
yeah.
parents did an amazing job. You're perfect. I just want you to say that.
Oh.
One. The second part I had to tell you was me and my mom are impasse, I guess. I don't That's what someone told me once, because I don't tell people to the degree that I can pick up on things from people, just because I don't want to scare them. But the thing that you're talking about is I can always read somebody. I know everything about them, but a lot of about them, I can feel it since I was a child. I can feel
Mhm.
how a person is feeling. I can always tell. I don't even have to see them. I can tell how it is. And I've talked people from being in bad moods to good moods all the time over the phone, because I can instantly pick up on it. It's just something that's in me, which I believe is a gift. You're right. God did bless me
Oh,
with that.
absolutely. It's a gift.
So me and my mom both have it. I know I have it like to a really high degree. I just don't tell people about it because I don't want to scare people.
It
But
can freak people out if you're not into that. If a lot of people call it woo-woo stuff, you know.
yeah, woo stuff. I guess I'm woo
Woo-woo.
wooing all over the place. I keep it to myself.
I love me some woo-woo though.
Yeah. Yeah. So I just wanted to mention that. But so there were you have it too. That's why when my mom asked you that question, I knew my mom was like, oh yeah, she has it too. I picked up on it instantly. And when she was asking, like, hey, when she mentioned us having it, I knew that she was going to say that you had it, because I felt it coming.
Oh,
I
kindred spirits.
There we go.
Yes.
Spirits.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I love that. That's one of I the first time I heard the term kindred spirits was Anna Green Gables, back when
Uh-huh.
we were watching it as a kid. And it's like, ever since I heard that term, I'm like, oh, I love finding kindred spirits.
Uh-huh.
Absolutely.
Like one of the
Yeah.
greatest things in life.
We're good. I'm so glad you came on today.
Me too. And
And then
thank you. I'll tell my parents. I think that
please do.
I think it's something that you know, I'm not a mom, but I would imagine that if I had a kid and someone said that, it would just melt my heart. So I
Well,
appreciate that.
yeah, your
Them.
parents did a great job. I'll give you the recording so they can play this anytime they want to,
They've
for
watched all
themselves.
my stuff too. It's so cool.
Yeah, so they'll absolutely have it. And then, so I wanted to circle back because I think mom said it too, to your nursing. You and your sister both went into nursing. Obviously, just hearing from you caring about people, I can understand why you went into nursing.
Yeah. So my sister was a nurse before me. She actually
Okay.
did my pinning at when I graduated nursing
Oh,
school.
awesome.
I've worked at a birth center, several different hospitals. I
Oh.
do primarily post-surgical. I do telemetry as well. The birth center was really interesting. That was kind of a short-lived thing. It's not particularly lucrative, and then the hours were kind of funky, and
Yeah.
it was just a little bit, but it was a really great learning experience. I worked at an eye surgery center really briefly. I think that was my first job, and then I went to the birth center, and then I've worked in the hospital for the last 8 years or so, 9 years.
Wow. And you
Nice.
have seen all types of
Yeah.
patients in the hospital and doctors. What do you feel that patients really need to know? Because I've always felt comfortable. I sold medicines at one point. I was a pharmaceutical sales rep and sold
Wow, good for you.
cardiovascular medications as well as um, antibiotics, and I'm trying to remember, and reflux medications as well.
Mm-hmm.
But with that said, being in the hospital with patients, I always felt that when patients derobe and put on that gown, they forget almost their name. I would be doing preceptorships with physicians. So I would like for you to tell patients out there, people who are going to see a doctor, what should they do to prepare, because they get so afraid. And you nurses always make us feel so comfortable. You've always made me feel comfortable in selling medicines. I got to know you all more so than the doctors, and eventually the doctors would come on. But I would always focus my attention with you all, because you knew your patients. You knew what you wanted them to do. So tell us a little bit, because we have close to 2 million followers, people looking on today, and they might have a doctor's appointment here in a few days, or might have to see the doctor in a month to talk about something. How would you prepare a patient or educate a patient about what they should be ready for when they see their doctor if they're dealing with something?
Your diagnosis is not your destiny.
Ooh.
Oh,
Ooh. Man. Go ahead, parents. That was good. That was really good. That shocked me. I'm sorry I can't shut up.
Me too. I have to write that down.
Will you repeat that one more time, Alicia, please?
Your diagnosis is not your destiny.
Wow.
Your destiny is comprised of so much more than that.
Oh,
Mom, we got a good one here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I know that from personal experience. I was supposed to have a hip replacement at this age, and I'm still doing great. I was born with really severe hip dysplasia. I was in a brace for the first year of my life, and I tell people, if I can do it, you can. I used to be really overweight too. That's why I didn't date. No guys wanted to date me. But
dude, crazy.
When
They're nuts.
I lost it in college, and I developed a love for fitness and nutrition, and I know the impact that it has on your life. And then I went into medicine, and you can treat the physical, but I can always tell the patients that are going to do well. And I know the clients of mine that are going to do well, like from the beginning, because of their mindset. If you have a mindset of, I'm going to get through this, and you're going to have to, there's always hiccups, and it's just, hey, we're going to get through this. We're going to walk through it. This too is temporary. Like, as my dad always says, this too shall pass. The mountains, the valleys, this too shall pass. Stay humble on the mountaintops and be, positive in the valleys.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that, because it's so, I was thinking about Brandon when his daddy was dying of pancreatic cancer, and being in the room and hearing a doctor. And Brandon, what did that doctor say that really upset you?
Sorry, I'm not getting emotional. The doctor just, like, my dad had such hope in here at the moment where he told my dad, I don't like that doctor at all. I really don't. I'm sorry, it got me. It came up, but the doctor, it was an oncologist. The doctor just said, hey, you know, Mr. Smith, it's been a pleasure. And like my dad had so much hope. He's like, hey, when are we going to do this again? The next chemo treatment. He didn't give my dad the options that my dad deserved. There's so much that he didn't tell my dad about. And he really my dad did chemo every single week. He did chemo every single week. And my dad has such high spirits.
Brutal.
Yeah,
Oh,
it is brutal. So
I'm sorry.
Like putting him in a casket, telling him to his face, good luck.
Yeah. And so like when he said that to the doctor, it broke my heart. Like I've had to block out a lot of that stuff just because it gets me emotional. But it's just he basically like just gave my dad the death sentence. I'm like, I would have rather him lie to him. My dad had such hope, and he could have lied or anything. It gets me because my dad worked so hard. He was doing better. And then the doctor changed up his medication. When my dad started doing better, the doctor changed the medication on him. And then he went from doing great to just crashing completely. But he remained hope the whole entire time. But I just remember being there when he told my dad that. And it sticks with me.
Yeah, that's why I appreciate nurses so much and some physicians, because the passion that you show, the empathy that you show for your patients and talking with them makes the biggest difference in the world with treating a patient. And so that's why I'm so glad you said this about your destiny, your diagnosis. Doesn't mean it's your destiny.
And the nurses were great too, Mom. Sorry.
That hope is what I've seen when I've gone in the room with doctors.
That's okay. Hey, it's okay to cry. Men cry, women cry.
Oh, jeez. I've never cried on a podcast before.
But I love the fact that Brandon, and that's one thing, I'm going back and forth through the different things that you do. But to know that Brandon shows, a lot of men do not want to show emotions. They don't want to cry. And I appreciate seeing my son when he doesn't mind crying when something hurts him. And I think that's one thing that men should do more of. They think that's not manly. It's so manly. And and a woman really looks at that like, whoa, he will cry too. He's good looking, he's nice, and he cries too if something upsets him.
Not all women do that. Not all women look at it that way. And I honestly feel like when a man is brave enough to do that, and they actually are in touch with their emotions enough to be able to there's healing properties. Our bodies are brilliant. It literally, there's chemicals that are released when we cry. It's not just salt water that's released. There's chemicals that are released that are cathartic for our body and that are healing for our body. And so it's necessary. And I agree with you. I think it's so brave. I have such respect for men that are strong enough to be able to do that, because it does take strength. My dad says most men are emotionally constipated. And I'm like, that is a great mental image, Dad.
Yeah.
Not mentally, emotionally constipated. And it's like everything is held in, emotionally. And so not mentally, I'm sorry, emotionally constipated. God, both my parents are going to kill me now.
Yeah, you're good.
I'm writing that down. I love that.
Alicia, I wanted to say that I have so much, but during that time of all that he was going through, I have forever so much love for all the nurses that were with my dad during that time. They were hands down the best human beings I'd ever met. And not only that, when we were in the hospital, his last over 72 hours before my dad was about to pass, when we were in the hospital, I wrote on the board, "Clear eyes, full hearts can't lose." And this nurse came in and she said that
can't lose.
Yeah, clear eyes, full hearts can't lose. I've said that before.
That's his saying.
Yeah, I've said it before, 500 auditions. But I got it originally from a TV show called Friday Night Lights, but it stuck with me because if you have clear eyes, you don't have to always see it, but if you have clear eyes about what your intentions are, and if you have full heart, meaning you go all in no matter what, then you can't lose. You'll never lose at the end of the day if you do that. So I always said that before auditions. Every audition I went into, I recorded 16 years of auditions because I would always record into my Snapchat to send out to my friends and say that before my audition so they would know that I wasn't scared, that I literally was about to go do the biggest thing in my life and I wasn't scared before going in. So I said that always before going in. So when my dad was sick and I was scared and trying to be there for him, I wrote that on the board and that nurse came in and she said, "I saw that and I knew my day was going to be good." And Yeah, that's so clear eyes, full hearts can't lose is a thing that nurse saw, but I had so much love for all those nurses because they made my dad's final days the best. And so I had the utmost thankfulness to you, who's a nurse, to everybody that works in your profession that's been nurses, because you guys are the hearts and souls of that of that world, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much for sharing that. That's,
yeah, no
I'm
problem.
gonna grab Kleenex real quick.
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we take you on an emotional journey. We make you laugh. We make you cry.
I love it.
We
Oh,
make you feel. Look at. I just. It's so nice for all the people watching today and those who will download this. I hope that with what we are doing and all the guests that are coming on, guests as you, and we've had so many phenomenal guests come on, that someone will be touched, that something changes his or her life just for a moment or maybe for a lifetime. But that's why looking at you and hearing your testimony, so to speak, your career path, being able to multitask your life. That's what I call multitasking in a life. I like that, what I just said. Thank you, Jesus. Okay. That is a wonderful thing to hear. So with that, how do you balance your everyday life? Because it appears that you have so much going on.
Yeah.
And so tell us a little bit how you balance all of this.
Yoga and breath work are my saving grace. And honestly, I have a tribe. I'm originally from Washington State, so all my family is there, but I call them my family. They're my friends who I've made into family, and I have a great tribe here. I take time when I need to. I'm actually in silence a fair amount. I don't listen to music. I don't watch TV. I try and minimize I do listen to music. I do love music, like in the car, but in general, I enjoy peace and I love silence, and I like walking outside, and I do, and I have so many fun opportunities. I mean, I even on my hard days, I wake up grateful every day, and it doesn't mean that you don't have challenges, but I try and acknowledge the blessings that I have, because I get to have so many opportunities that most people don't get to have. And I think it's an honor to be able to bless people in the way that I do, to utilize my knowledge base and my experiences. And it's a choice, but it's also a blessing that I have the opportunity to be able to do that. And, I definitely don't take that for granted. And honestly, yoga and breath work are probably my two saving graces. Yoga is like, it's my therapy on my mat. And I still work with the coach periodically when there's maybe something that I need to process. And because, I always say I'm a Jacqueline of all trades. And I actually don't mind the master of none comment, because I think anytime you feel like you're there, you're sunk, because you were never there. You're always growing, always evolving. So and I've had that mindset forever. I love learning. If I'm like, oh, did you know this? And it literally excites me, So
I love hearing that.
Yeah. I mean, the balance is a challenge. Especially I sometimes I'll have to turn my phone off. I think, doing that and taking that time is always a good thing. I try to utilize a lot of the things that I go to are not just social. I go to a lot of networking things and stuff like that. So that way I get, exposure to different people. Cause I mean, the concept of really what I do is fairly, it's newer, and so it's definitely out of the box. It's not your ordinary thing. So, but I have no man or woman is an island. And I am so grateful for my network. It's just I have so many connections to really incredible people that I learn from all the time. And, it's not humility to say that so much of what I learned is from them. It's the honest truth. Like, yeah. So.
I love that you're a people person, Alicia. First off, just so you know, I need you to come back on the podcast all the time.
Heck yeah, let's do it.
Okay, perfect. That's an open invite anytime you want. But I relate to you. There's so much you said. I'm like, geez, I relate to her in all these things, from being a people person to being, you love getting to know people. Like you're right. One of the things you said was that, hey, what's your job? I hate when people, I've only experienced that since being out in Los Angeles, but otherwise in other walks of life, and from people in NorCal, all that is different. Hey, it's just be way, like, it's just us talking back and forth. It's not about what I do. It's about me as a person, or about whatever it is that makes you tick. And so I love the fact that you said that you aren't asking people what their job is. You're getting to know them, because that's what's really important, is that human connection. A job's just a job, or a career is just a career, although that does have to be a part of you, but that doesn't define you. So I want to get to know you one-on-one, not what you do. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
There's a book called Untethered Soul that is by Michael Singer, and it's fantastic. I have a couple books that I generally will recommend to clients based on where they're at and what they're navigating. But I should compile all of them and put them into one book.
Well, yeah, please do. You need to write your own book. I mean, geez.
I know that, because I write a lot, and a lot of people say, like, why don't you have your book done yet? And but it talks about who is the person, who is the soul behind all of the worldly definitions, like mom, daughter, son, brother, teacher, whatever label that we're putting on ourselves. Who is the soul behind, underneath all of that. And absolutely. It talks about learning to release all of the tethers that we have to these definitions. And so you can define for yourself who you are. And that really was probably, if I had to sum up my 30s, that's what my 30s really was this kind of sojourn through so many different arenas that I really wanted to. And I am so, it doesn't mean that I'm not shaken sometimes, but I'm so grounded in who I am. I love, love the person that I am. And I want everyone else to have that too. And it amazes me that people are actually scared to say that, or don't feel that way. Like, I love how I show up in the world. I love my heart. I love my mind. And that's how I walk into life every day. And you can only love other people out of the overflow of love that you have inside of you already. It's like put on, your mask on the plane before you put on someone else's. You can only love out of the abundance of love.
My mom says that all the time. Put the oxygen mask in yourself. My mom's, I know my mom's impressed with you without her even having to say it, but she literally, this thing, almost everything you've said today, my mom has said, which is wild. From the grammatical stuff with your mom to the putting the oxygen mask on yourself first. I'm sorry. That's why I had to have a moment. At least let her know. She didn't hear it. I heard it.
Go, Mom.
Yeah. Go you too. Go, Alicia.
Oh, my God.
I always want to tell people, they say, what is your job? What are you doing now? My job is my life, enjoying my life, making the best of it.
Every day.
I'm on this side of 50, and I told Lord, thank you for making it a beautiful part of me and giving me, sometimes when I would get bored with things, I said, oh, it's time for me to change. Oh, I can't do that. And time for me to make a difference someplace else. You have to get up and move. I can't stay in this. I'm not going to make a difference for you, nor are you going to make a difference for me. So it's time for me to get my hat and coat and go. And so it's so amazing how God will make that happen for you. You start asking him for things and said, Lord, please, I don't know how you plan to do it, but when you do it, I'm going to shout. And he has done it for me. So my job now is life.
Yes.
Best life now. And so I love hearing what you're saying today. It has touched me. You just don't know. I have taken notes in my book, and I don't
her book, I saw
remember, but when we were in college, or when I was in labs and everything, I had a lab notebook. I'm up here writing notes in a lab notebook. The Lord told me to take out my
You
lab
do?
notebook today because, girl, you're going to be taking some notes today. And so I have just
Oh,
been
I
making
love that.
notes in my little lab book today because I have to go back and look at it. I have to go back and hear some of these things, though I'm going to go back and look at this interview today. But I just, you have touched
You're
so
amazing.
many areas of our life,
Seriously,
of my
like
life today. Amazing.
me too, Alicia. I think we're dumbfounded over. I'm not dumbfounded, but I guess we're enamored because you spoke to our souls,
Mm-hmm.
and we
I
had
don't
that
know any
kindred
other way to
spirit.
speak.
Yeah, well, you're doing a good job. Once again, thank you, Alicia's parents. You've raised a magnificent woman in her, to say the least. But I'm blown away, to say the least. I'm almost speechless. I never shut up sometimes, so I'm speechless when it comes to you. So just trying to make sure I say the right words.
Oh my gosh. Oh,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
I honestly, I don't know any other way to be. And I've had so many incredible mentors throughout my life. You know, when I was going through my divorce, my godmom, she told me, she said, well, you know, one of the best ways to heal your pain is to help someone else through there. So I, you know, got the idea. I said, okay, I'm going to go on a mission trip to Africa and go haul some water. So that's what I did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it was one of the most incredible experiences of my life. I would go back to Africa in a heartbeat. I mean,
I heard it's beautiful. I heard it's absolutely beautiful.
oh my gosh. And you know, it was amazing. We were working with South Sudanese refugees who literally
Mm-hmm.
they were on a plot of land in northern Uganda. And
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they had nothing. They had the clothes on their back. And it was so cool because a lot of them in South Sudan, you know, there's no running water. It's
Mm-hmm.
a war-torn country. There's no running water. There's no electricity.
Mm.
And their exposure to anyone Caucasian is like nothing. So when the
Mm-hmm.
kids, I was around the kids at the well, they will congregate at the well, and this well is massive. The UN
Mm-hmm.
had installed wells on this plot of land,
Mm-hmm.
and I got down on their level. I love kids, and I got
Mm-hmm.
down on their level, and they just came up and just started touching me, and they started pulling
Mm-hmm.
on my hair, and
Mm.
I was just like, this is the coolest experience that I've ever had. This is amazing.
Yeah.
And just to be a part of them, like, having this new, like, oh my gosh, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and then, you know, feeling my skin, and then they started like rubbing it. And it was
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
just, it was one, I can't even tell you, it was life changing in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
And seeing these people who had been removed from their home and in a foreign place, and they
Mm-hmm.
still have joy and gratitude, and they sing and they dance, and I'm just like, oh, this is the heart of humanity here.
Mm-hmm.
That's
And
great.
they have no ugliness in their heart. Children really don't. It's
Oh,
just when adults bring their prejudices or their ways to children and try to impart that way to them. But kids come loving. They come with that loving spirit. And sometimes I think we are given too much. You're given too much and you fail to realize those who don't have as much. And sometimes I see children who take their parents for granted, little kids, and yelling at their parents. We never disrespected our parents growing up, and can't imagine that you have these little children over in another country just happy to be alive, just happy to get some food, just happy to have some water, just happy to play outside, just to play with the mere just maybe making, like I did when I was a little girl, making mud cakes out of mud outside because we played outside.
we played outside too.
Yeah,
I grew up on a farm, man.
and
We
making
played
the
with the
earth.
horses.
Yeah, and we had pecan trees, and we had also
Oh,
we had plum trees, we had pear trees,
yeah, we
and we had all of what nature had for us growing up in South Carolina. And we came to appreciate our surroundings. And for entertainment, we used to sit on the front porch as kids and watch a man come down the street with his wife on a horse and buggy. I mean, really. Now, people had
Wow.
cars, but they still had the old timey horse and buggy.
We had
So
a
we were
sleigh.
just so entertained just to watch that down the
Mhm.
down the street. And I think the only thing we saw on TV, the Little Rascals. So we got a chance, the Little Rascals, and that was so much fun for us.
Yeah.
And I think it was a way that I wish children would have more things like we thought we didn't have much, but we had everything that God wanted us to have, that has molded us into being who we are today. And we're appreciative to this day for every little thing. And we couldn't even play out our yard. My grandfather would not let us play outside the yard because he said he never wanted others to influence the way they were raising us. So we
Ah.
feel sorry for children outside of our fence. We used to say, oh, wow, that child could get hurt out there. And then when we grew up, someone said they used to feel sorry for us because we were locked inside the gate. So it's according to where you are, how you see it.
Perspective,
But
yeah.
the difference that you see, and I always tell people we weren't used to all kinds of things. We had so much with reading poetry as a kid, writing with fountain pens as
Yeah.
writers. My grandfather, being a professor, taught us things at
Wow.
home. And so we would be like around him. He was like the Solomon. We as kids would sit around and listen to all the wisdom he would impart in us as children. And it's made
Ah.
all the difference in our lives to this day.
Yeah.
And so hearing you today talk about all the things that you have done, and I am just thanking the Lord for sharing your stories, having you share that with us all today. It just makes me feel so great to hear you and to meet you.
Absolutely. Me as
Same.
well, Alicia. I wanted to say one thing to touch on something both of you said, and I know you have to go. So I'm going to just say this real quick. My dad used to always say, and I said this at his funeral, is the one thing that separates each of us is God's good grace. And from your experience in Africa, of what you were saying with those kids and them being, just being around you and you having that which changed your life, what mom was saying about her experience as a kid and with her grandfather, that goes back to what my dad was saying. The only thing that separates us is God's good grace, and that we're all human. We all make mistakes. That was all tied in as some of my friends had gone to jail and my dad bailed them out. So
Wow.
he tied all those things in together. So it's just that
Wow.
opportunity is what separates us from being that person that could be on the street or that person that is doing well. It's just that opportunity that God's given us. And Alicia,
You
I
really
think,
have a lineage. I mean,
oh, thank you.
it's really incredible to hear like your background, and I mean, you really have an incredible lineage to that really has, kind of set you up. Like, I think our DNA, there's a book called The Body Keeps the Score, and our DNA actually remembers, there's memory cells, especially within our cardiac muscle, inside of our heart, there's actually memory. And they're just now kind of starting it. I think ancients probably knew about this. It just wasn't maybe as uh, well articulated back then. But I think that so much of ancient wisdom, what we consider to be ancient wisdom, is like scientifically proven now. And so I think that we don't think oftentimes about the legacy that we leave and the impact that we have, because everything has a ripple effect. And my parents talked about, my dad has always talked about that. His favorite book is Proverbs, and he favorite book in the Bible is Proverbs, and he talks about that a lot.
Proverbs. Oh, I love Proverbs.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, other people are watching, and for me, it's not about religion. It's just about
the Proverbs
having an understanding, and it's good. It's good knowledge. It's good wisdom to have, just even if you're not religious, even if you're not a practicing, if you don't practice a faith. But I'm just, it was good for me to have that foundation always.
Excellent.
You can see it. You can see it all. It's written all over your face, and it's written all over every person. You are a blessing yourself, and every life has been blessed by the people you have touched, have been in your presence because of how your family raised you, how your upbringing was in Washington State, I think you said.
Yeah.
And, all that you have done, even the good times and the bad times, have all shaped you into this beautiful human being, which is why I said your parents did a great job. But you've continued to bless lives of every single person you meet in the nurse in the hospital, in Sudan that she met. And then everybody continued, even me and my mother and myself today as well.
You know, and can I share with you what my life motto is?
Yes, please do.
A lit candle loses nothing by lighting another.
Gems. Dropping gems.
And I live by that. And it's not that I'm happy all the time. And I'm very, you know, if you read any of the stuff that I've written about, I'm very transparent, and I share a lot about some of the different, you know, struggles or things that I've had, because I want people to understand that there's like, you don't get to a mountaintop just drifting there. You have to go through the valleys, and the valleys will create some scars, and but they create tenacity, and they create wisdom. And if you choose to look at it that way, and, you know, you're not done until you take your last breath. And, Amen. You know, you can grow up until that time, you know. And if I can utilize some of the lessons that I've learned to, you know, impart wisdom or to, you know, help someone else, like I'm going to, you know, I want, at the end of my life, I want someone, if even one person says, hey, like, you made an impact on my life. And that's really why I do what I do. I had a client, I was at an event, and I had one of my clients show up, and he said to me, he goes, you literally have changed my life. It is night and day how I show up. And I just like, that's why I do what I do. You know?
Absolutely.
He goes, I'm eating better. I'm working out. Like, I feel better.
Yeah.
And he's like, how I'm received in the world, people take me seriously now. And it's like, yes.
Yeah, I know. We're happy for you. Will you say that quote one more time, Alicia? Because I'm going to make that for the Spotify, for the podcasting. I'm going to have that quote as your thing.
A lit candle loses nothing by lighting another.
Perfect. Thank you so much for repeating that. You go ahead, Mom.
And one final thing I wanted to share with Alicia, because when you said something, it brought back an old gospel song to my memory. And the song was titled, If I Can Help Someone as I Pass This Way, My Living Will Not Have Been in Vain. All right? So I share that with you.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that.
Absolutely. Well, Alicia, you've been absolutely wonderful. I know you have a day to go too, but as I said, we would thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you guys for having me on. This has been wonderful.
Yeah, it really has. We're gonna have you on again too. We'll have you on again.
I would love that.
Yeah.
If you ever want to set up a panel, I have men I'm sure that would do that.
Would be great.
Yeah, I would love to. That's absolutely.
I think it would be a great idea.
I have your number now. So let's talk. I'm all for it. We can talk about it and make it happen.
Yeah, let's do it.
Absolutely. Mom, anything else?
All right. I think that is it. And I'm clapping already. Let's start the clap.
Yeah, Alicia, great job. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to have you. And I'll text you and let's talk about the panel. I'm all for the panel.
Sounds good.
All right. And then you're back anytime you want.
Awesome. I will.
All right. Take care. Have a blessed day.
Tell
your parents I said thank you. They did an amazing job with you. I'm like enamored and blown away. So you did a wonderful job.
Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Okay. Take care. All right.
All right. Ciao.
Bye.
All righty. Great job. Great job.
Let's see. I don't even know how to stop this. Oh, here we go. Over here. Mom, she was excellent. Excellent. Let me see. Leave me.